Good afternoon to all. Good afternoon to all. Good afternoon. My presentation is quite different compared to other presentations. This is the presentation that demands optimum attention. Otherwise, it can lead to confusion anytime. Therefore, I would like to request all my esteemed audience to listen me very carefully. Well, my presentation, basically this is my research finding. Nothing like a higher level presentation. This is simply my simple research finding. So I will be simply presenting my research finding. Influence of astrology on surgery. Well, zodiacal astrology is explained in the tradition of Kala Chakra and higher Tantra, including profound inner meaning, is very much connected with the Vajrayāna Buddhism. And this very teaching was propagated in the final training of the wheel of Dharma. So the Buddha Shakyamuni himself showed the interrelationship between the phenomenal world, physical body, and mind. To go to the background, astrology and traditional medicine. If I define briefly what is astrology, astrology is the study of the positions and the relationships of the sun, moon, and the planets in order to judge their influence over human action. On other hand, traditional medicine. If I briefly explain what is traditional medicine in one sentence, it is a conglomeration of science, art, philosophy, and the religion that is interwoven into one fabric and charm is so equal. Therefore, traditional medicine and astrology has to go in hand. It is like a two wings of a bird. It has to go together. Well, if I share one sad story, if we closely look into the recent study of the Johns Hopkins, more than 250,000 people died every year as a result of medical mistakes in the United States alone. Can you imagine? What is there? Something is there. On the other hand, if we closely look into the thing, it is very difficult to become a medical doctor. To become a doctor, person should be intellectually sound since the childhood. It is very difficult to become a doctor. And to become surgeon is like another journey to the peak of existence. Surgeon, they never become surgeon overnight. To become surgeon is very, 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 very tough job. And they are not trained to kill a human being. They are trained to heal the human being. But somehow, it happens. What could be the reason? We have to look for that. There could be some reason. Is it accidental? Can you call it accidental or incidental? We cannot call it accidental or incidental diet. But I call it as an unfair demise. So I, as a traditional medicine doctor, I have to admit in the beginning itself, I am neither a Buddhist scholar nor astrologer. I am just a Soarikpa practitioner. So I, as a Soarikpa practitioner, I attribute this failure to the non-compliance of the Buddhist astrological recommendation. There are several astrological recommendations to be followed while we undergo the surgery. Right. These are some of the factors that influence the outcome of the surgery. Wangtang, we call Wangtang in Turkey. The karmic power accumulated from our previous action. Power from the previous action. That is called as Wangtang. And that really influences the outcome of surgery. And another thing is Lungtala, horse of fortune, that represents all aspects of vitality. That also really influences the outcome of surgery. And another thing is Laza, the day of a week. When the psycho-energetic function of the individual is favorable, that day is considered Lazala. And it is good to undergo surgery on Lazala. Nothing will happen, I can guarantee. And another day is Sokzala, day possessing vital energy, good life force, vegetative energy. And it is okay to undergo surgery on that day. And another dangerous day is Sheza, that is also day of a week. One is likely to encounter so many difficulties. A type of particular entity that is tied to a particular entity with the capacity to harm us. That is absolutely not good to undergo surgery on Shezala. And another major factor that really influences the outcome of surgery is La. Actually, there are three kinds of La. Today, I'm stressing and I'm talking on the La that is really influencing the outcome of surgery. La, the representation of the psycho-energetic function of the individual in the relation to the energies of the external world. Well, what is psycho-energetic function? The energy link between human psychic and the mystical form of energy. That is called the psycho-energetic function. Well, that Lane, it rotates anti-clockwise in the male, and it resides over different anatomical sites of the body. And similarly, it rotates clockwise in a female, and it resides over different anatomical sites of the body based on the day of the lunar month. It also resides over different anatomical sites of the body based on the day of a week. And similarly, it also resides over different anatomical sites of the body based on the time of a day. One day is divided into 12 intervals. And, during auspicious days, 8, 15, and 30 days of a month, it envelops entire body. It covers entire body. And it is not at all good day to undergo surgery. For instance, today, that Lani is residing over my head. And this is a Sheza, not a good day. My karmic power from the previous section is poor on this particular day. And Lungta is not as good as before, not good Lungta. And if I take my head under the knife for surgery, oh my God, I am adding 250,000 plus 1 if I am in the United States. So we have to be very careful while we undergo surgery. So this was my research question. Initially, I wanted to study the effect of Buddhist astrological recommendation on the outcome of surgery. But I have my counterpart, doctors, with whom I am studying together. They were recommending me. In the beginning, it is good to do a simple survey, like knowledge, attitude, and practice. With that recommendation, we have decided to study what was the level of knowledge, attitude, and practice towards Buddhist astrological recommendation among the patients undergoing elective surgery at Jigme Dorji Wangchok National Referral Hospital in Bhutan. And the main objective of my study was to determine the knowledge, attitude, and practice towards Buddhist astrological recommendations among the patients undergoing elective surgery at National Referral Hospital. And it was a cross-sectional study conducted in the month of April and May 2018. And the sample size, number of patients interviewed were 410. Thank you. And these are the results. When we evaluate their knowledge, out of 410, 188 were aware that there are astrological recommendations to choose the timing of surgery, which was not very significant. And when we asked them, like, how much was, out of 410, 160 were aware about Lhasa, Soksa, and Sheza. And 99 of them, out of 410, 99 of them, only 99 knew that the Sheza is better to undergo surgery. Now remember, this was among the Buddhist patients. Sorry, something problem with this pointer. You need to give me a few more minutes because I'm wasting some time with this pointer. Okay, so when we try to evaluate, when we try to ask, out of 410 very saddest parties among the Buddhist patients, out of 410, only 4 patients were aware about the Lani. Oh my God, out of only one patient know the meaning of Lani. Oh man. And the study was among the Buddhist patients. We have excluded the Christian, Hinduism, Islam and all. So out of 410, 139 knows that it is better to perform surgeries on auspicious dates. And when we check the knowledge on Wangta and Lungta, 182 out of 410 were aware about the Wangta and Lungta. And similarly, when we evaluate their attitude, and we use the Likert scale, and these are the results. These are their agreement. You can simply flip it over. Not very significant. And see, believes the Lani would affect the outcome of surgery, not very significant. And when we try to evaluate their belief in Wangta and Lungta, and these are the responses. And these are the results of their practice. And out of 410 patients, only little more than 9% practices always. Little more than 78% out of 410 practice astrological recommendations sometimes. And 12.4%, they never do practice astrological recommendation. So conclusion, the patients don't have the adequate knowledge about the astrological recommendation to choose the timing of surgery. Very sad. And surgeon in Bhutan, I'm not blaming. Surgeon in Bhutan predominantly schedule the dates for the surgeries for the patients. And only 3 patients scheduled by themselves in consultation with the astrologer. We have astrological college in Bhutan. This is Buddhist country. And this study was among the Buddhist patients. And those were the result. So my recommendation, further studies on the effect of astrological recommendation on the surgical outcomes need to be carried out before taking any action. So in this regard, I would like to seek advices and a way forward or any kind of recommendations from the esteemed audience here. And I forgot to mention in the beginning, while we affirm the Lani, actually there are 6 fundamental principles that affirm the evidence of Lani in human body, like Kala Chakra tradition, Zhichenkhar tradition, archetypal bone tradition, modern Chinese study, astrology, and Zhichenkhar tradition. And one which we follow in Bhutan, one which we follow in the traditional medicine system, is the Kala Chakra tradition. Even in this regard, I would like to throw this question to the eminent Buddhist scholars here. which tradition we should be following, because each and every tradition has the different recommendation. So with this, I would like to thank for listening me very carefully. Thank you.